pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So public comment on agenda items other than development for rezoning applications. And then we want to approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the June 28th meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the June 28th meeting?
No, second there.
Mr. Block, any vote?
I vote yes.
Mrs. Clerk?
Yes.
Yes. Moving on to approval of the bills. Any comments or questions about the bills? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the bills?
I'll second.
Mr. Block, any vote?
Vote yes.
Mrs. Clerk?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We have no bids and quotations. Moving on to the public hearing on the subdivision plan. First one will be the Montana subdivision. Mr. Walker.
Thank you. Good morning. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, July 5th, 2022, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with the condition that the parcel being created become an integral part of the adjacent lot.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walker. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of the Montana subdivision? Just please state your name and address for the record. We'll go ahead and open the hearing.
Yes, my name is John Laird with David Laird Associates, 1557 West 26th Street. The plan you see before you, the issue actually came up in the 1970s. There was a driveway, a concrete driveway that was placed over the property line. In our records, in our office, we have a survey showing that, and we have legal descriptions showing that the property was meant to be transferred at that time, but there was no follow through, and the new deeds were never recorded for the situation. So this subdivision before you is to rectify that situation of an existing concrete driveway being over the property line. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? Matt, any comment from the commission?
No, there were no comments from the commission and nobody appeared other than Mr. Laird.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anybody here to speak on this from the public? All right, we'll close the hearing. Is there a motion to approve the subdivision plan?
Motion to approve the subdivision plan?
I'll second that.
Mr. Block, any vote?
Vote yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is resolution 2022-R32. Resolution pursuant to resolution 2015-R20 and municipal records manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records this month. It will be MPD-cam video. Between July 13th and the 26th of this month, due to reaching the required retention period. Is there a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve resolution 2022-R32?
I'll second.
Mr. Block, any vote?
Vote yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And, no, are we going to cover the sketch plan request?
No, that will be the next meeting.
Okay, because it's on here.
It's not on the agenda. I think it was included with the information packet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing it. Okay.
Okay. Next item is the NPS office lease agreement. Who's?
Yes, the Mill Creek Paramedic Services has decided to renew their lease effective July 1. They were awaiting data's notice, so we've used the same form for the lease as the prior lease, and the rent is staying the same. So my recommendation is that we approve the lease retroactive to July 1 of this year.
Okay, thank you. The board have any comments or not on this? Is there a motion to approve the lease agreement with NPS?
I'll make a motion to approve this.
And I will second.
Mr. Barr, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mrs. Clerk?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is the developer agreement for sewer lateral connection, MCH Corporation. Matt?
Yes, thank you. Mill Creek Community Hospital Corporation is building a medical facility at Peach and Dudley Street called the Dudley Medical Building. Before you is their sewer lateral agreement. They have signed the agreement and they have paid the required fee. So I recommend that we approve the agreement and that the board authorize the chairman to sign.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Block, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
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 And I vote yes. Next item is a financial security release request from Nick Patel, developer, for 4140 Stone Creek Drive.
Thank you. Yes, as you mentioned, this was for a home built at 4140 Stone Creek Drive by Nick Patel, who is the home builder. This was built late last year and was ready for occupancy over the winter. Mr. Patel was not able to finish the stormwater management system that was required because of the weather in December. So in place of that, he put up a financial security to guarantee that it would be complete this year so that he could get the certificate of occupancy. That system is now complete. In front of you is a form signed by Township Engineer Ann Sokol stating that everything has been inspected and completed as it should be. So at this time, I'm recommending that you release the security, which was Northwest Savings Bank check number 346 in the amount of $935 to Mr. Patel.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions from the board for Matt on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the security deposit return.
Thank you.
And I will second.
Mr. Block, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to communications. Mark, anything?
I have nothing further.
Thank you. Next item would be hiring request for public services. Jude?
Okay, Public Services would like to hire Joseph Henry as a part-time equipment operator at the Millfair Compost Center at an hourly wage of $18 an hour for the 2022 part-time hourly equipment operator wage schedule. Joseph will work 18 to 28 hours a week, and the start date would be Wednesday, July 13th, 2022.
Thank you, Judy. Is there a motion to approve the hiring of Mr. Henry?
I'll make that motion, yeah.
And I will second.
Mr. Block, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mrs. Smith?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item would be training request for MPD. Okay.
Yes. The police department is looking for approval for the IDD specialist to attend a maritime operation for bomb technicians July 31st through August 6th in Duluth, Minnesota. The training is conducted by the FBI Hazardous Device School. There is no cost for registration, and the lodging, travel, and per diem are reimbursed by the FBI and the National Bomb Squad Commanders Advisory Board. So I will I'll make a motion to approve this training.
I'll second that, Jen.
Thank you. Mr. Block, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Executive sessions were held on June 30th and July 6th to discuss various legal issues. Moving on to solicitor communications, Mr. Schwab.
Yes, I wanted to report that the Board of Supervisors received a letter from the Reverend John Dedish resigning his position on the vacancy board. He stated as follows, Dear Kim, Dan, and Jim, my time at St. Jude, the Apostle Church, is coming to an end on July 2nd. Bishop Prisco has appointed me as pastor of St. Tobias Church in Brockway, another wonderful parish. As a result of this reassignment, including 11 years as pastor of St. Jude's, I must resign my seat on the Mill Creek Township Vacancy Board effective July 2, 2022. Thank you for putting such trust and faith in me, and please know how honored I've been to serve the township that has been my home for so much of my life. Peace, Reverend John Dedish. So given that he is no longer a resident of Mill Creek, he will no longer qualifies to serve on the vacancy board, which is obviously what led him to proceed to resign. So there will be an open position for the vacancy board. The vacancy board representative serves as essentially the tiebreaker if, for any reason, a member of the Board of Supervisors is no longer, either resigns or is no longer capable of serving in that position. So I just wanted to announce that and let folks know that if there's interest, please let the Board of Supervisors know, and as well to thank Reverend Geddish for the years of service that he has provided the township by agreeing to serve in that position.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Okay, we'll move on to citizens to be heard. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this morning? Okay, would you please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record?
Good morning. My name is Robert Umpleby. I live at 2916 Broadlawn Drive. Back at the beginning of June, my wife Kathy and I submitted a formal letter to Dan Ouellette, copies to James Bach, Kim Clear, and attorney Mark Shaw, requesting a refund of the $1,000 we paid to go before the zoning hearing board to appeal Mr. Puzz's denial of a permit to build an open porch. At the end of June, we finally received the township's response in a letter signed by Matthew Waldinger, Director of Planning and Development. The following is an excerpt from that letter. We received your request and will not be refunding you the appeal fee. The township is not obligated to refund the fee under statute, and it is not the township policy or practice to refund zoning hearing board appeal fees. So basically, in my opinion, what this says to me is, what this letter is saying is right or wrong, you pay and the township doesn't, even if it's due to an error of law on the part of the township. Seriously, really. After all Kathy and I have had to endure and go through for the past year and a half just to build an open porch on our property, a structure that was specifically allowed by the zoning ordinance, you believe it to be fair and justifiable to deny our request. Can you really sit there in good conscience and say that denying our request was the right thing to do? Starting with Mr. Puzz's error of law in denying our building permit, to the zoning hearing board and township solicitor's endorsement of his error of law, to appealing to the Court of Common Pleas, and to finally having to wait and lose more time for our project while the township was debating whether or not to take this appeal to Commonwealth Court, we have had to endure much. Kathy and I are most disappointed in receiving the township's rejection letter from Mr. Waldinger. Our letter was basically addressed to all the supervisors. We were expecting a response of some kind from the supervisors, certainly not the cookie-cutter response we received from Mr. Waldinger. Boy, was I stupid. I personally thought the request would be addressed in a supervisors meeting, either as a resolution or in solicitors' communications. The supervisor's decision to delegate the response to Mr. Waldinger can only be interpreted as an astounding lack of empathy from the supervisors for all the wrongdoing that we have had to endure through this entire matter. Going back to the township's letter, Mr. Waldinger lists all the costs covered by the appeal fee. Under normal circumstances, I would agree that the appellant should have to pay the appeal costs. but this is far from normal circumstance. Kathy and I patiently waited for the entire appeal process to play out before requesting the refund. Even though we strongly believe that we were treated disrespectfully and unfairly by the zoning hearing board, we would not have requested the fee be refunded if the court had not ruled in our favor. As you are all aware, the court did rule in our favor. Let me remind you that all of the costs in this case were a result of Mr. Puzz's error of law, backed up by the zoning hearing board and township solicitors. Even though Kathy and I eventually won our appeal, we do not really feel like winners. Sure, we are finally getting our porch, but at what cost? We have paid $8,500 in appeal and legal fees. Our project is going to cost us $14,000 more than it would have cost us last year when we should have been able to build the porch. All of which comes out of our retirement fund. Over $22,000 paid out for what should have been covered by a $50 permit fee. What did this error of law cost Mr. Puz and Mr. Waldinger? Nothing. Supervisors Olette and Bach, how about you? How much did this injustice cost you? Again, nothing. Attorney Shaw, we know that you and your law firm made money in this matter. Since you were perhaps more responsible for this miscarriage of justice than even Mr. Puz and the zoning hearing board, should the township reconsider granting the refund, maybe they should invoice your firm $1,000 to recoup the cost. I didn't want to be here today requesting the return of the $1,000 appeal fee. Kathy and I certainly wish that our front porch had been constructed and we were home enjoying this fine morning sitting on our porch. But here I am. So one more time, I'm asking you supervisors to review all of the aspects of our case, read the transcript of the hearing board, the zoning board's hearing, and reread our June 1st letter. And ask yourselves if denying the return of our appeal fee is still the right thing to do. We look forward to a timely and personal response from the supervisors. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the board and citizens to be heard? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.